Hello all. I was scratching around searching for something and I came across these, so I thought I would just share them with you. These were the medals earned by my grandfather on my mother's side, Jack Rencontre. He served in the South African Union Forces from 1939 to 1945. He served in an armored unit, the South African Armored Unit. He served in North Africa and Italy. He received these medals: the 1939 to 1945 Star, the Italy Star, the 1939 to 1945 medal, and the Africa Service Medal. Springbok, that's the sort of the South Africans were called the Springboks, were then, and like some of our sports teams up until a few years ago was still called the Springboks. I don't know much about this grandfather of mine's military history. I just know he served in an armored unit in, as I say, North Africa and Italy. Okay, now I'm packing these away. I'm bringing out my other grandfather's medals on the Norman side. Obviously, my father's father, Lester John Norman. My father is named after him. When my grandfather was still alive, there was a junior and a senior, but this was Lester John Norman Senior, and he spent the majority of his life until he was retired from the Navy. He ran away when he was still a young boy of about 12 or 13, as far as I understand. He joined the Navy and started off as, I think it was a cabin boy or something to that effect. He served through the First World War. He was in that, I think it was that big naval battle in World War I, Scapa Flow, I think it was. He was there. And these medals are the 1939 to 1945 medal, the Atlantic Star, and the 1939 to 1945 Star, and the Defense Medal, and those were from World War II, and these two were from World War I. So I've got no idea what they wore, or where the ribbons, or what happened to the ribbons, but these were from World War I, and those are from World War II. I know a bit more about his history. One of the stories about him is that during the war he visited Cape Town here where I stay, where all the family stayed in later years, but he visited it during the war on some submarine. I'm not sure of the name of the submarine. And the submarine was here to refit and restock or whatever they do. And as the submarine was about to leave the harbor, a signal came through, and he was transferred from there to the HMS Ark Royal. And the submarine that he was on left the harbor, and a few miles out into the sea was torpedoed by a U-boat, and all hands were lost. So he sort of had a narrow escape there. So from that submarine, he was sent to the HMS Ark Royal. He was I don't know what the rank might be today, but in those days he was a chief yeoman of signals. Now, before the sort of radios and sonar and radio and everything came into effect during the the Second World War, most of signaling from ship to ship was done via flags or that flashing light, I think it's semaphore. He would have been on, if he was on a ship that never had radios, he would have been in charge of that. It was a non-commissioned ranks. He wasn't an officer. So when he was transferred to the Ark Royal, because the Ark Royal was going to carry Fairey Swordfish torpedo planes, which never had radios. So they needed a signalman on the bridge so that they could signal the Fairey Swordfish. And he told me that when they were hunting the Bismarck and they found the Bismarck, the Fairey Swordfish was sent out to attack the Bismarck. And I don't know, as procedure, they would fly up and circle and whatever. And when the order came through from I think it was actually the King was on board with the Ark Royal at that point, and the order was given to attack the Bismarck. And so my grandfather would have then given the order to the Fairey Swordfish to attack. And the Fairey Swordfish attacked the Bismarck, and as far as I know, one of the torpedoes took out the Bismarck's rudder, which actually aided quite significantly to hunting down and eventually sinking the Bismarck. There's a lot of debate about whether the Bismarck was actually sunk or whether the Germans scuttled it or whatever, but anyway, doesn't really affect the fact that of the story. So it's, I don't know about, I mean, I can't vouch for every fact, but I do know that, I mean, somewhere inside, in an album somewhere, I've got a letter from the King, because at that time it was all the officers. He was the only non-officer who was serving on the bridge of the Ark Royal, and after the Bismarck episode, they were all invited to the palace for tea. And he still got a letter from the King for congratulated the officers, but he got one as well. All the officers on board the Ark Royal for their participation in the sinking of the Bismarck. Anyway, I thought I'd just show you that, and then we have my little offering here. This is called a Pro Patria medal. In the army, we used to jokingly call it a Pro Neutro medal, but it was for service in Southwest Africa and Angola. You had to be above what they called at that time above the red line for 180 days or more. So you had to be in the sort of fighting area for 180 days to earn this medal. So didn't do anything really much to earn it, besides the fact that my presence was there. Anyway, it's not much compared to what these grandparents of mine earned, but I just thought I'd show it. I'll keep them in a box. It's marked family medal, so if I'm showing you the family medals, I may as well show mine as well. Okay guys, I hope this has been a bit interesting to some people, and yeah. Till next video, see you and keep well. Bye now.